Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rainy's Kitchen. I have had requests to make an apple baby and actually make a video of it because I make them a lot. I put them on Instagram. I show them on YouTube every once in a while. But I'm going to do a full video on how to make one. Probably won't get many hits on this video, but I'm going to do it anyway because I like it. I like to share my recipes and hope you like them too. So let's start with, I'm going to show you the recipe card. All right, so actually two recipe cards because this is the original recipe card, and it doesn't have very good instructions. As you can see, it was like, here's all the shit you need, and here's the temperature for the oven. Have a nice day. Try it. Do your best. So I rewrote it, and it's a little more explicit. Can I use explicit as a word? Sure, because it's my video. I'll do what I want. So here, we're going to just give you the basics. We need 4 eggs, cup of milk, cup of flour, and white sugar, 4 tablespoons full. And that's going to make our batter. And then we're going to go to 2 tablespoons of butter, which I have 4 tablespoons cut up. Here's a little thing I decided to, I thought everybody knew this. The actual measurements are on most butter packs. There's 8 tablespoons in a stick of butter. And I'll show you how to actually cut them up. So I need 2 tablespoons to actually make my apple caramelly stuff that I'm going to put in it, and then afterwards I'll need 2 more, so I already have those cut up. And I only have them cut up because it's easier to melt them in the pan when they're cut up. And then we have 3 or 4 large apples, and then 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and optional is a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'd like to point out though, flour, don't go crazy on your flour. We don't need anything special. This is what I use. And it works good for me. I see myself now. All right, so that works fine for me. So what we're going to do first, we're going to go ahead and make up our batter because the batter needs to be warm. And I recommend you probably put the eggs and the milk out probably an hour before you're actually going to make them to let them warm up. So crack the eggs, put them in the milk, let them warm up. And then same thing with your flour. The warmer it is, and I don't mean like, I mean room temperature. I don't mean like warmed up, you know, like ready to cook. What that'll do is it'll make it flash better in the pan, and once you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. So let's get busy. Alright, I had a little video snafu. Thought I was recording and I wasn't, but I went ahead, I added my milk, my flour, my white sugar, and my vanilla extract, one teaspoon, not tablespoon, teaspoon of vanilla extract. So now we still need to add our eggs. I may not be as skilled as a lot of people out there, so when I crack my eggs, I always crack them into a bowl first, because if there's a way to get a shell into a batter, I'm going to do it. So I always crack them separately. And 4 eggs seems like a lot, because it is. This is more of a custard type dessert, but I promise you'll love it. And I'm making the batter first because the batter has to settle. When you pour it in, you don't want any bubbles in it. You don't want anything to actually make it swell more than it is, because it's going to swell a lot, and you'll see. Let me get rid of these eggs. Alright, so we're going to add our eggs. And let's see. Alright, so you can see we got the eggs all in there. We want to break everything up. I'm not really worried about it. It's going to be a little clumpy, but trust me, it won't matter in the end. As long as you break up most of it, it won't matter. Make sure you break up the eggs. That's absolutely important. Alright, start slow, obviously, because you got to break up the flour. And then gradually build up speed. And intensity. And fervor. And all that. Best way to use your whisk. Power blender, baby, right here. If you don't know this secret yet, you're welcome. This works with gravies, batters, mixes, anything liquid. Agitate, baby. All right, we'll let that settle for a little bit. We still have some, can tell we still have some clumps in there, but if you let it sit for a little bit while we do our apples, that will fix itself. Move that out of the way to settle. Move that out of the way, and we're gonna peel our apples. I won't bore you with my apple peeling skills. Just believe that I peeled the apples, and then we'll show you. How you want to cut your apples up is entirely up to you, but I like to quarter them and then core them. So we'll get them all cored, and then we'll cut them to the size that, I mean, you're going to figure out. If you've never made this before, obviously you need to figure out how you want them cut, how small you want them cut. That's entirely up to you. It's just like in apple pancakes. Some people like to shred them, like shred them down hash brown style, and some people like to leave them in slivers, and some people like to put big chunks in there. You're gonna figure out how you like it, and then that's gonna be your recipe. Once you put your own little finishing touches on it, that's your recipe now. Congratulations, you did things. All right, smaller knife to do the actual coring. Again, this is entirely up to you how you do this. This is how I like to do it. You can take two people that have cooked for 20 years and they will swear by their own way to do this. So, yeah, nothing personal if you don't like to do it my way. But don't complain about how I do it if I cook for you. Annette. And if you want less apples in it, use less apples. That's, again, it's entirely. You can tell this apple's a little bruised. It's going to be fine. Bruised apples just have a little more sugar in them. They're not rotten. They're like brown bananas. The browner they get, the sweeter they are. That's what my mama said anyway. And then again, she wasn't a very good cook. Anyway. Alright, so we got all the apples cored. And my unemployed freeloader likes apples. Is that good? Of course it was. Huh? The apple core. You can figure out whether you want yours cut long ways, this way, or if you want to do them this way. Again, it's entirely up to you. This is your recipe. But I like to cut them long and leave them about 1/4 inch, a little over thick. And the easiest way is to cut all of the quarters I made into quarters again. Because that's easy math. I don't have to measure anything. I just cut. I'm a simple man with simple skills that happen to end up with food. Right. And we'll fast forward through this part again. Ow! And try not to cut my finger off. And we'll speed through this real quick. So this is sat for a little bit. We're going to whip it up again, get the last of the little lumps out of it. And if there's still lumps in it, it is not going to matter, I promise you. Alright. So now we're going to start working on our apples. So we're going to bring this up to half heat. And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. Let that melt. And get this off where it won't melt. Alright, so we're moving on to making our caramel. So we have a cast iron skillet, and you have to, again, figure out if you want a thick one or a thin one. I like them thicker. So I'm using my 10-inch instead of the 12 or the 14-inch. Got our butter melted in there. We're going to add brown sugar to that. That's our 4 tablespoons. It said 3 tablespoons. I use a little more. I may even add a little more. Who knows? If the caramel doesn't come out right, I may even add a little more. Here's your ASMR. What does this sound like when a spatula scrapes this cast iron skillet. You're welcome. If you don't like it, sorry. So we'll let that melt a little bit. If you've ever made caramel in a pan, you know what I'm talking about. Alright, so our brown sugar is starting to break down now. You can see it getting a little bubbly. You may even have to add a little more butter to it if it doesn't want to break down enough. Just, I mean, it's not an exact science. You can add more butter, you can add more brown sugar, you can make it thicker than this. It's not really going to matter. There will be more liquid to this once the apples start to break down and the juice out. This actually will thin up and make a really nice apple caramel. No pun intended, but... So we're starting to break it down now. Let's stir it and make sure we're not sticking. Get the butter stirred into it a little better. Okay. So it's starting to spread by itself now. It's getting a little liquidy. That's what we want. So we could add our apples now because it is liquidy enough to spread around, but I'm gonna let it go a little more, get where I don't see any grains in it, and then I'll add my apples to it. Okay, I think that'll be good enough. Get our camera angle right for all this goodness. And I'm going to just spread my apples around inside there. So this seems like a lot of apples, because it is. I like a lot of apples in mine. But these are going to cook down. They will shrink. Oh, a little bit of a seed in there. Get that out. So once I get these spread around good, I'm going to add my brown sugar. I'm sorry, I'm going to add my cinnamon. I don't even know what I got here. Read the recipe. It'll say. The recipe is all the right stuff in there. This video is the right order to do stuff. So let that break down to its thing. This usually takes about 5 minutes. If it takes longer, is what it is. But once the apples start softening and they're completely covered in the caramel, that's when it's time to take them off. But for now, let's do this thing. Alright, let's start flipping them. They don't have to be perfectly covered because they eventually will be. Just keep stirring them around. Turn the fire down a little bit. Trying to get this off my spatula, because if it stays on the spatula, it just gets hard. If it gets back into the pan, it'll liquefy again and get back on an apple. So, play to my strengths. Okay, we can see now that the liquid is starting to form. The liquid's coming off of the apples. We're making a little puddle here. The liquid's coming off, and it's helping make the caramel a little thinner. Caramel, I don't care. If you guys happen to come to the Ohio meetup this year, which will be the last part of September, first part of October, I will make one of these at a friend of mine, AZDZ Motor, the AZ part of the AZDZ Adventures. I'll be making one at her house because she's going to make me biscuits and gravy. It's only fair that I make something also. Okay, bring our fire back up. Now that we're melty, flipping them again. As we flip them, we're trying to get a good idea of how soft they're getting. And again, it's up to you how soft you want to get them. If you want to keep them a little crispy, you could probably take them off now. If you want them to be a little softer inside, which I do, I'm going to keep cooking them a little more. And the fewer apples you have, this goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway because it's a video. The fewer apples you have, the quicker they'll soften up. The more apples you have, the more you have to turn them, and the longer it'll take to soften them up. But I like to go until the caramel starts solidifying a little more. Right now, caramel's a little watery, so I will keep on letting them soften up. Alright, so we're going to bring our oven. I've had my oven preheating, but I'm going to go ahead and bring it up all the way to 425 now. Step over and check my batter again. Not only is this helping to, stirring it, not only is it helping it get the lumps out, but it's also helping it come to room temperature. Because the more close to room temperature you have, the better flash you'll have on the sides of the pan. And I know I still haven't explained that yet, but I will, promise you. Wish you guys could smell this. Dana, how's this smell? Awesome. She said awesome for those in the back row. Alright, it's time to get these into the bowl. You want to come hold the camera for me? Alright, let's get my bunny paw pot holder.
Yeah, I'm backwards.
You're backwards.
Around the neck.
Alright. And I'm going to separate these where I can put the pan back into the oven to preheat, because this is what makes it an apple baby, preheating the pan. Otherwise it just turns into some kind of cake. And we're getting most of the caramel out of this. Alright, and we're going to put the, oh, got one more little piece of apple in there. Come out of there. Alright, we're going to put that back in for 5 minutes. We're going to need that back on in a minute. Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, starting now.
And I wonder how many of you guys' Amazon devices just came on. Alright.
From allconnect.com.
Alexa, stop. Alright. We got some nice caramel there. We're going to let that... Trust me when I say that's good. Alright. Alright, for now we're going to wait 5 minutes, and I'll be back to you in 5 minutes when we take this out. So while we're sitting here waiting for the oven to heat up, I'll show you my stylish view today. You see those? These are my Vietnamese fishing pants. The height of style. And you're in the kitchen anyway. Yeah, I don't match. Colors don't match. My flippers don't match. I've got orange and black slippers, purple Vietnamese fishing pants, and a green shirt from work. So, yeah, that's how I roll. So, hey, look, it's time. So let's take our pan out. Let's see what we got. We got our burner on, and this is why I want the burner on. Is to keep this hot while I add all my other stuff to it. Dog's not hurt, she's just whiny. Okay. We'll melt our butter into here. Completely coat our pan, and that also kind of waters down whatever caramel is left inside the pan. Waters down, butters down, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. We're going to completely coat our sides. This is going to seem like a lot of butter. It's not really. Trust me when I say this will make this more delicious. Alright. So we're going to add this now. Our apples back in. Straighten them around the pan. We got some caramel in there. We'll come back to that later. And now we are going to add our batter. If you've never made one of these, I'll show you something cool in the oven if it'll let me record it through the door. And we're going to stick this in our preheated oven. Okay. Turn that off. Alexa, set a timer for 18 minutes.
18 minutes, starting now.
Alright, so now we just have to wait 18 minutes, and I'll be back with you in about 10 minutes to show you what's going on in the oven. Alright, this may be hard to see, but this is why you preheat the pan, because it actually will flash up. We've still got about 6 minutes left for it to cook, but this is what's happening. It's actually cooking. The outer crust is folding over the top of the rest of the batter. Yeah, that's a better angle. So now you can see it there. Good times. We're almost there. This is probably a good time to tell you a little more about myself. I got into cooking because, well, I've pretty much been on my own since I was 14, 15. I had to cook for myself. And I got tired of eating beanie weenies and Vienna sausage all the time. So I started learning how to cook. And, you know, man cannot live on beanie weenies alone, obviously. So I started having to look for recipes, go to people's houses, ask people's mothers for recipes, digging through. We didn't have an internet then, but we had recipe books. Everybody had the Betty Crocker Big Red Cookbook. So I started just going through there, and that's how it was. And then once I joined the Navy, got out on my own, I was by myself till I was single till I was like 30. And so yeah, I didn't like eating out all the time. That's way too expensive. So I learned how to cook for myself. So here, now you get to benefit because I can show you all my recipes. All right, so that means it's done. Let's check on it. Get our danger mitt on here. And there she is. And again, yeah, that's why you heat the pan first. And now you're gonna get to see something magical as it deflates. So let's do this. Alright, now we just gotta not burn ourselves. And we're gonna cut it up. It's very soft and squishy. This is again, it's because it's more custardy. It's custardy without being custard. Let's put it that way. Look at them apples. Yeah, like I said, you can put less apples in it if you want. That's up to you. I think it's criminal to use less apples, but whatever. Communist. Alright. Let's get it plated. And again, I got a lot of apples in this, so it may not hold together well, but man, I don't care. Oh, perfect. Okay. Add another apple, because I said so. And so here, again, another personal choice. You can go with powdered sugar, Cool Whip, or syrup. I like to do powdered sugar. And you can also put ice cream on it. But I'm just going to eat it like this for today. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a lot of fun for me to make because I love cooking. And the best part about cooking is being able to eat it. See you next time in Rain Brighter's Kitchen. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell. See you next time.
Like, comment,